What's up, guys? I haven't uploaded in a bit for mostly school-related reasons, but it's summer now, so I'll probably upload a little bit more. Anyway, now onto the actual video. Chapter 1. What the heck is that? The Day the Noobs Took Over Roblox, TDT for short, is a series of 3 mainline and 1 spin-off games created by Cloaked Yoshi. The story follows the noobs invading Roblox and you going on countless adventures to stop them. The first game came out in 2014, the second in 2015, the spin-off in 2017, and the third game began development in 2017, but was beta released in late 2020. I know this because I was so excited for the game that I actually bought the beta. When I first joined Roblox in 2017, I played the snot out of the first and second games, attempting to get flawless runs in the second game. I did manage to get several, but lots of them are genuinely difficult to get. But my nostalgia isn't why you clicked on this video, so how about we dive into the lore. Before we begin, I just want to say we will be covering every single game besides Noob Defense, because it isn't canon. Same goes with bonus chapters, but not because they aren't canon. Also, all games will be divided into their own chapters, for convenience. Chapter 2, The Day the Noobs Took Over Roblox. The game begins with you in a jail cell, shortly after the noobs' conquest of Robloxia. Unlike the second game, we don't actually see the invasion happen, just the aftermath. Anyway, after escaping your cell through the vents, you hitch a mail truck and do some epic stunt driving before crashing and falling into the sewers. In the sewers, we meet the true villain of the Day the Noobs Took Over Robloxia, the noob fish. These little guys are absolute pests, and they are everywhere down here in these sewers. Anyway, after escaping the evil, horrible fish and doing some more parkour, you manage to escape the sewers by climbing up a toilet. And somehow you end up in a government building that's now run by noobs. How convenient. You then have to cross a library without being hit by stupid, annoying noobs saying stupid, annoying things. After escaping the library, you have to go full Indiana Jones and dodge large boulders being thrown at you from down the hallway, a recurring obstacle in these games. After that, we get our first look at King Noob, who's the guy behind this whole invasion, planning the rest of his attack on Roblox. After that, we attempt to escape the building, concluding Chapter 1. Unfortunately, we are unable to, due to the facility beginning to self-destruct. Due to this, we turn back and break through a wall in King Noob's room before climbing up a hidden elevator shaft. Then we have the option to choose an easy or hard path to escape from. For the sake of this video, I chose the easy path. I'm not sure what the hard path is like, so you're gonna have to play the game yourself. After doing some more parkour, we conclude Chapter 2. We are now outside the destroyed building and tasked with crossing the street and not becoming roadkill. After you get past the for some reason pixelated noob drivers, you make it to the White House. You walk through the front doors, and that concludes Chapter 3. Once inside the overrun White House, you must touch 3 buttons and pull a lever. Once this lever is pulled, it opens a trap door, concluding Chapter 4, and leading back into the horrible, disgusting sewer. But luckily, there's no fish this time. Hooray! After some basic parkour, we conclude Chapter 5. We climb out of the sewer, ending up in a small city currently being destroyed by boulders. Fun fact, on rare occasions, one of the boulders can either be a gigantic evil noob fish as well as a rubber duck. After falling some gold coins and doing some parkour to get to a red arrow on an old rusty beam, we must cross a ravine, likely getting hit by several boulders in the process. After that, you make it to a small protective building housing a new spawn for you. You then cross a cliff ledge, eventually leading to King Noob's castle, concluding Chapter 6. You start inside the castle, where you drop down a chute and do some basic parkour. You then have to climb a spam mail tower. The joke being you have to spam jump because the pads you land on are slippery. Yes, I'm serious. This game was ahead of its time, to say the least. After escaping that actually quite hard obstacle, you fall down a large staircase and have to do a quick puzzle. This isn't a walkthrough, so I'm not giving you the answer, although if you have basic Roblox knowledge, it's pretty easy to figure out. Then you have to make it across a room without falling in lava or touching lasers. Then you do the same thing but with a bridge and without lasers. After that, you solve a simple physics puzzle and escape the second last chapter. Chapter 7 comes to a close, and the end begins. After some actually difficult parkour and the return of the noob fish, you must slay several noobs. After that, you press a button and obtain a key, which you use on a keyhole on King Noob's viewing deck, causing him to fall and seemingly die. The military then appears and congratulates you and asks you what happened. After telling them, you leave the castle and are treated to a closing cutscene, showing the military's journey to get to the castle, thus concluding Chapter 8, actually Chapter 7, and the first game in the series. This doesn't include bonus missions, however, as stated in the first paragraph. Maybe one day I'll do a separate video covering all the side content, like the bonus missions and noob defense. Who knows? Anyway, now we're on to the sequel, which is where stuff really starts to get complex. Chapter 3, the day the noobs took over Roblox 2. In this game, we actually get to see the noob invasion. You are in your hometown, tasked with getting your keys, grocery list, and the food on that list. After that, you return to your home, concluding Chapter 1 and starting Chapter 1.5. You are treated to a cutscene where it is said that during you having dinner, the noobs invaded Roblox a second time and took you prisoner, ending Chapter 1.5. After escaping the prison, you are tasked with getting some car keys for a cop car to escape. Fun fact, this was the first chapter I flawlessed. Also, the evil fish make a return in this chapter. Anyway, you use the car keys to drive through a gate, eventually running out of gas in a small town, concluding Chapter 2. As it just turns out, this is where the new prince and new princess live. After killing Prince Noob and choosing whether or not to kill Princess Noob, the canon option being you spare her, you take both of their crowns. You then escape on an elevator, taking you high up on a mountain, concluding Chapter 3, where you meet Cadet, a member of the same military force that arrived a little too late last time. After some very diverse parkour, you conclude Chapter 4. You are now in an abandoned tea factory, where you must solve a puzzle to get to and beat several obbies to get out and to the noob leader, including the noob fishes once again unfortunately returning, in arguably their worst stage, besides the one in the final chapter of the first game. After the horrors of that level, though, you conclude Chapter 4 and are washed up on a beach. You then have to sail a boat to another nearby beach, finding a ruined house and entering a trapdoor inside it. We enter a near exact copy of King Noob's lair from the first game, including the dreaded fish stage, which is somehow even worse than the first one. After all that, you drop down a hole hidden in a hall behind King Noob's fallen throne. Concluding Chapter 5. You are then confronted with a choice, talk to the noob leader or fight her. For the sake of this video, I chose to talk, which seems to be the canon ending, which concluded Chapter 6. Turns out, the leader of the noobs after King Noob's death was actually Queen Noob. She reveals that if we had stayed in our jail cell for a little bit, we would have received a peace treaty. She doesn't really care though, and invites you to climb up to her booth so you can chat. After some parkour to get there, the noob queen reveals the new prince and princess noob are actually alive due to spawn pads nearby. She then invites you into the booth, and once again you have the option to kill her or go through the door on the left and sign a peace treaty. Once again, I chose not to kill her, as that is the canon ending. Anyways, that concludes the finale, as well as the game. I have a lot more memories with this game than the first, due to it coming out closer to when I joined Roblox. Before we continue on to the day the noobs took over Roblox 3, I should mention there are several characters that only mentioned in bonus levels that are important to a story. Those characters being Lillian, who has actually been part of the game since the beginning as the guide, Ace, Agent X14, and Blink, along with several others. Anyway, it's now time for the final piece of the main timeline. Chapter 4, the day the noobs took over Roblox 3. In order to properly discuss this game, I need to explain a few things. Firstly, a noob called Nebulous Noob decided to make a noob army out of robots after you made peace with the noob queen, and used noobadium nukes on the world, leaving it destroyed once again. Second, Ace, the military, yourself, and several other survivors are positioned on a small island near mainland Roblox. Anyway, Lillian creates a teleportation door leading to a chain of islands right next to mainland Roblox, and Ace tasks you with using it to find out who launched the nukes. You meet Lillian there, and she gives you some double jump boots to make your life a little easier. While traversing the chain of islands, you discover Princess Noob survived and is on it, as well as several others, like the camper from the day the noobs took over Roblox 2. It's around this time I should mention that the fish have returned once again, and are now gigantic. Anyway, after some parkour, you make it to mainland Roblox, concluding Chapter 1. Upon entering a destroyed city, you discover a knight is watching you from above, saying you best go back the way you came. Completely disregarding this advice, you parkour up onto the roof of one of the buildings and meet up with Blink and Agent X-14. After you talk, you make it up to the knight and conclude Chapter 2, beginning the first boss fight. After you beat the knight, he is revealed to be a mere pawn of the sorcerer, and you pick up what seems to be the Noob King's crown, concluding Trial 1. The crown seems to have teleported you back to King Noob's castle. If I had a nickel for every time King Noob's castle reappeared with almost the exact same but slightly different in these games, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's kind of weird that it happened twice. Anyways, upon coming closer to the castle, wanted posters can be seen of Nebulous Noob, who, if you remember, caused the nukes to go off. A note can be found stuck to a tree, revealing that King Noob is alive and escaped Banland. Anyways, after some more parkour, lava-resistant noob fish, and a puzzle, you enter the throne room, and on one of the thrones there is a note from Queen Noob revealing she is alive but was sentenced to jail for the invasion. Anyways, you then meet face to face with the Noob King for the first time in ages. The king tells you he knows who did use the nukes and tells you his fortress is nearby. But there's a force field around it. He says he will help you and gives you the slingshotter to help you traverse the rest of the chapters, and you conclude Chapter 3. We arrive in a recreation of King Noob's old home, through an old hatch in the back of a sanctuary. We are then tasked with testing out our slingshot by beating the Mecha Mega Bull. After doing that, you pick up a cog and are transported to an I Spy Industries building, known as the Noob Factory, completing Trial 2. After some challenging parkour, you make it through most of the facility and conclude Chapter 4. But then immediately after, you fall through a rusted part of the bridge, with King Noob going to find help. You then must fight a gigantic noob robot powered by the sorcerer, which apparently appeared in one of the bonus chapters, I think? I'm not really sure. After you do that, King Noob comes back with a rope and tells you we shut off the generator, completing Trial 3. You arrive and meet up with all the survivors, including the military. The general says stuff we already know, and we are tasked with delivering a cart of Nubanium to the fortress while fighting off robots to take down the force field completely. After that, the cart doesn't work because, as it turns out, the sorcerer is powering the force field. After you fight her, you have the choice to kill her or keep her alive. It seems the canon option is to keep her alive, so that's what I did. Anyways, you then enter the castle, completing Chapter 5. After entering, you must complete incredibly annoying parkour to get to Nebulous Noob, who is taunting you. After everything, you've reached the top of a spire and enter a glowing green beam, transporting you to Nebulous Noob, completing Chapter 6, and the beginning of the end. All of the finale is literally just the Nebulous boss fight, so we can skip over that and go on to the conclusion. After the Nebulous fight, Ace gives you a call on your radio and tells you the building is collapsing, and to get out of there fast. You grab Nebulous Noob and begin parkouring your way to freedom, picking up King Noob on your way. Eventually, you get to the front door, which is about to collapse. You can choose to save 2 people. There is no The Day the Noobs Took Over Roblox 4 yet, so we don't know which ending is canon. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with the Save King Noob and Yourself ending. After escaping the building, you are treated to a celebration by your friends, and the tale of the noob invasion finally ends, concluding our video. Chapter 5. The End. And that, my friends, is a complete and mostly comprehensive guide besides the bonus chapters of the entire TDTNTOR timeline. As stated before, one day I might cover the bonus chapters in Noob Defense, but that is not that day. So, goodbye, and I'll see you next time.